Hey, what's up? Welcome to part two of this conversation on Talk with Jay, where it's all about inspiring stories. I never stop and will never stop saying this, that everyone is important, everyone has a story to tell, and everyone's story is important. On this special episode, I'm hosting Frank Orwaru. He's a finance enthusiast, He actually describes himself as a market development specialist for shared economy and fintech solutions, finance and technology. It's like the in thing right now. And on part one, we had his story, but this part two is going to be very special. We're going to be talking about money. What do you know about the money markets? What do you know about the inflation? So we're just going to have a amazing knowledge session right here on this special episode. And Frank, thank you so much, man. Thank you for sticking by. Thank you for making time to come for this episode.
Pleasure is all mine, Jacktone.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to be asking you a couple of questions, just to help me and the viewer understand a lot of things about money and savings and investments and all those things there. So let's start with what's the genesis? Let's start from the beginning, man. What's the genesis of money, and how has it evolved over time? What's your perspective?
Jacktone, I think it's a few weeks ago, I read a quote that goes, the reason why the rich continue being richer and the poor continue being poorer is because the understanding of money happens to be more important than even the ability to generate money itself. So the people who are rich have understood what money is and how it was designed to operate, and that's why they have applied that knowledge to themselves, and that's why their cash flows will continue rising, as opposed to those who have not taken time to get to understand what this whole thing about the money system is all about. We're just gonna generate money. From my perspective of the genesis of money is we first started with barter trade, where we exchanged goods to goods, but the difficulty was the level of indivisibility. There was products that could not be easily divisible, and also the bulkiness of whatever you are going to sell. Let's say, for example, you have a cow and you're going to the market and you want to buy fruits. How could that transaction happen? So there had to be an intermediary. And people in the early times would use precious stones just to solve this challenge. And by introducing that aspect, now they moved away from the barter system, and now they embraced what we have now come to know as the gold standard. Because gold is one of the because of how scarce gold is what makes it valuable. And for money to be money, there has to be some value attached to it. So the challenge with the gold standard was that gold was a bit bulky. So you could not just carry it anywhere. Let's say, for example, you're going to buy something. So the blacksmiths were the bankers in those days. So you will take your gold to your blacksmith and they will store it for you, but in turn they will give you a receipt telling you that we owe you such an amount of gold. So when you want to go buy something, instead of you going to the blacksmith to get your gold and then go to the market, you go to the market with this piece of paper and exchange it to whatever you want, because of how portable the piece of paper was and how it could be easily divisible. Now that's when money came into existence, but not these pieces of paper were backed with real value, which was gold. So it came to a point where this blacksmith became a bit clever. They would make money out of, you see, the moment they give you that piece of paper. And now there are people who needed lending. So the blacksmith printed more paper than there were gold. meaning that they were diluting the value of the paper that is out in the economy,
Yeah.
because let's say for example it was one paper per 1 bar of gold.
Mm.
So if we have 20,000 papers out there,
Yeah.
and in the vault we have got 15,000 bars of gold, it means
Yeah.
that the value of that paper thingy
Yeah.
has been diluted.
That's right.
But now no one of the population would know, it's just the blacksmith who knew this, and would lend this at an interest. So we used to make money out of it. Now from there we come to the current financial system that we are running.
Yeah.
It's called the fractional reserve system.
Yeah.
The fractional reserve system was incepted in the US in 1913, and that's what brought into existence what we now know as the Federal Reserve. Maybe I can ask the question, who owns the Federal Reserve?
The Federal Reserve.
Or who owns the central bank?
Wow. I think it's there's some very old family. There's a family that started that. I don't remember the name though.
But then,
Yeah.
if you ask that question to a random person, they will
Yeah.
tell you the government.
Mm.
Then there's usually a follow-up question. So
Yeah.
if the government owns the central bank,
Yeah.
then why is the government indebted to an entity that it owns?
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Um,
What's the name of the family? By the way?
It's Rothschild.
Rothschild. Yeah.
So the reason the way the fractional reserve system works is, when I deposit $10,000 in an account, the bank that I have deposited this $10,000 has the right to print 90% of that money and lend it out. So they have the right to print $9,000. So they reserve 10,000.
Yeah. The 10. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So they can they actually
1,000.
1,000. Yes. So if it's 100,000, 90% is 90,000. They reserve 10.
Yeah.
Now with that, that's what brings to birth inflation. Now, when we define inflation using the textbook definition, which I find a bit deceptive,
Yeah.
that's my opinion. We say it's the abnormalizing of
Yeah.
prices of goods and services.
Yeah.
But for me, I believe it is the drastic reduction of value of the money.
Yeah.
Because I ask you, Jacktone, you buy a piece of land today, $500,000. 2 years down the line, you're selling it at 1 million. What has changed? And that piece of land, there is nothing you have done to it.
Yeah.
Just as it was, just as you bought.
Yeah.
So what has happened?
Time has changed.
Time has changed.
Yeah.
And when this time has changed, what else has changed? The value of money has gotten lost, has gotten depleted. So the way this system was built is savers become losers. Why?
Savers become losers.
Yes.
What does that mean when you say savers become losers?
The reason why I say savers are losers, I'm not trying to trash the whole idea of saving. I'm trying to differentiate saving and investment.
Yeah.
The reason why you lose when you save is because of the element of inflation. Today, Jacktone, if I give you 1,000 shillings today,
Yeah.
if I asked you if I should give you 1,000 shillings today, or I give you 1,000 shillings in 1 year to come, which one would you opt for?
Today.
Today. Why?
Yeah.
The same reason.
Yeah.
If I give you 1,000 shillings in 1 year to come,
Yeah.
you take the inflation amount cumulative for all those months and then you divide by 12.
Mhm.
That is the standard inflation for that particular year.
Yeah.
Now, take that amount out of that 1,000 shillings. Yes, it's 1,000 shillings, but the
Yeah.
value is less
Yeah.
the inflation amount.
Yeah.
So, yes, you're saving, but you're losing in terms of value.
I see.
So, on the flip side of the coin, in investments, you want to put your money where it is net of inflation.
Mhm.
As in, you're making a return that is equal or more than the inflation amount of that particular year.
Yeah.
It's usually a famous question that people are asked. If you were at sea and you have all the equipment to bring a ship that has sunken onto the surface,
Yeah.
and there are two kinds of ships. One, the ship that that has got cash, that is on a vault which is watertight, and has been there for 10 years. And another one has got gold on the vault and is watertight.
Yeah.
In 10 years' time, which one would you go for? The gold or the money?
The gold.
Why?
Value.
Same reason. Money is a poor store of value.
Yeah.
What money has is its nature of being liquid, and that means it is easily acceptable by everyone.
Yeah.
The challenge comes in when you look at the US currency
Yeah.
for the last 100 years. If you ask me, I'm not so sure, but if you ask me, it is lost almost 80% of its value over time.
Yeah.
And most of the global currencies are usually sort of pegged to the USD, so
Yeah.
there is a ripple effect
Yeah.
with currencies as well.
Mhm.
Because if you want to give an indicator of how the Kenyan economy is performing again vis-a-vis the US economy,
Yeah.
you can look at the currency.
Yeah.
Currency pair, the USD versus the
Versus
Kenyan
Kenyan
shillings,
shillings.
and see what's the exchange rate.
Yeah.
So you find that our exchange rate, you converting a USD to Kenya shilling, you're paying more, means
Yeah.
that your economy as Kenya is not doing as well.
Like right now
Yeah.
now it's at
108.
108, 109, plays 107.
Yeah. So if we were exchanging, or if we get to a point where we are exchanging our the currency to a rate of
200.
200, we
Yeah,
are doing
that
even
means
worse.
We're doing badly.
But if we are exchanging it to like 70,
Yeah, it means
it's something that we are doing
yeah,
that is
it's
good.
stable.
Yes. So
Yeah. Interesting.
that interconnection, because
Yeah.
all these financial markets are interconnected. There is
Yeah.
no market that works in isolation.
So this question of value, I mean, where should someone invest? You know, because for you to understand, then you actually need to know where to invest keenly. I think you know these guys, Centum Investments. They kind of mapped out areas of investment. You know, I know they're keen on investing in real estate, in FMCG, in the finance and finance, ICT, and institutions, and energy. Energy, and the last one is agribusiness.
Yeah.
They kind of like mapped out, these are the areas that we are gonna heavily invest in, and anyone, whether local or international investors, these are the key areas that we would invest in. So according to you, based on what you're saying, then where should someone invest?
So typically, there are different ways you can look at that.
Yeah.
And one of the ways is based on your risk appetite, and also how old you are.
Okay.
Because in financially speaking, young people, it is usually perceived that young people get into more riskier investment options than old people.
Yeah.
And
Because
this
young people want quick money.
and
High
also
risk.
it's usually advisable if you're young, experiment on these things
Mm.
so that they do not pass you and then you come and discover them when you're old, and that's when you're getting to. So it is when you are young, when people are young, you hear people talking about hedge funds,
Mm.
FX, those high frequency sort of investment options.
Yeah.
But when the more you're getting older, you're moving your investments portfolio into a bit more, not very high risk, not very low risk, at the middle there.
Mm-hmm.
But the more you keep on growing old, you're moving your investment into more secure investment options.
Yeah.
And these are options that are easy, you can easily liquidate.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, for example, when you are a young man,
Yeah.
it will be advisable for you for someone to advise you to buy a piece of land
Mm-hmm.
as an investment option,
Yeah.
because of there's a period that you can wait for it to grow in terms of return and probably sell it back
Yeah.
and recoup your returns.
Mm.
But you see, when you are old,
Yeah.
and someone is telling you to invest in real estate or land,
Yeah.
let's say, for example, he's got like 3 million, puts it all there. What if he falls sick?
Mm.
So what are the chances of liquidating these pieces of real estate as opposed to other? How quick can you liquidate this piece of land
Yeah.
as opposed to other investment options?
Yeah.
So based on your need for money
Yeah.
and how the urgency of it,
Yeah.
will also determine which investment options you want to invest in.
Yeah.
That is one. The next one is the risk appetite.
Yeah.
How risky, how
Yeah.
risk averse are you? As in, what's your level of risk appetite? If you have the highest risk appetite, do forex trading,
Mm-hmm.
hedge funds, and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
If you have low risk appetite, invest in bonds and life insurance and stuff like that.
I really like that approach, and I think it's really solid advice, because we can look at like areas to invest, and those areas now fall into high risk,
Yes.
low risk,
Yes.
because some people are very conservative,
Yeah.
some people are
Yeah. They are.
some
They
are
like to
very,
balance.
very aggressive.
Yes. Some are
you
very
know.
aggressive.
Yeah, that's interesting. Right now, there's cryptocurrency,
Mm.
and fiat money. I remember when this cryptocurrency, and the Bitcoin stuff. I think there's a point we actually talk about Bitcoin, on a different platform, different show. And just yesterday, I was actually on Twitter. I saw there was something was trending. I don't know what's the name. Is it Jet Money? This one that Elon Musk has. There's a new.
Yeah,
coin.
I've heard of it. I haven't really gotten time to keenly look at it.
Yeah, it's a really new one.
Yeah.
But yeah, for someone who doesn't really understand what is all this stuff about cryptocurrency and fiat money, how can you break it down in a very palatable layman's language?
I think it's a journey that we've come from. When we began with barter trade, and then we moved to the gold standard.
Yeah.
And then we moved to the fractional reserve banking system. Now I think the next stage is digital currency.
Yes.
That is cryptocurrencies. That's where the bitcoins are falling into.
Yeah.
And the reason why this is coming in place at this time is because fiat money has been centralized for government to make decision making.
Yeah.
So there is someone who said, show me who's got the authority to print the money and I care not who makes the laws. Meaning that if someone has got the authority to print money, whatever laws you make, I can buy them.
Doesn't matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think the person who sat down and came up with cryptocurrency was trying to remove that power from a central entity that coordinates the flow of money and capital to redistribute it and make it even. Because there is no single entity that that is there to manage how cryptocurrency
Yeah.
is moved and
Yeah.
how it flows.
Okay.
It's a system that runs itself.
Yeah.
Now the difference between fiat currency, which is in the fractional reserve system,
Yeah.
and Bitcoin is
Yeah.
there is no limit as to how many notes that can be printed
Yeah.
by any government agency
Mhm.
that is mandated with the responsibility of printing this
Yeah.
cash. But in Bitcoin, which is
Yeah.
one of the cryptocurrency,
Yeah.
they say that there will be no more existing coins at, when we get to 21 million coins.
Mm.
Right now we are
We are
at 18 million
18
coins.
million. So 3 million to go.
What does it tell us?
Yeah.
The aspect of inflation is not not there
In digital.
in digital.
In
That's my
cryptocurrency.
perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. So is there any regulation right now really for crypto? Because I read a very interesting article at some point by Dr. Bitangen Demo, and he touched on this. There are governments, even Kenya, people are skeptical, all this cryptocurrency thing, is fake. No, it's not going to last, it's not going to work. But one Bitcoin
is equivalent to 6 million shillings.
6
right
million
now.
6 million Kenya shillings.
Yes.
Yeah, but when it started,
it was like 200 shillings, 50 shillings.
Yeah.
And that's like, I think, in 2010.
Yeah. Just the other day, man.
So if you bought 2 coins back then, right now you
that would be a millionaire. We're having 12 million.
Being a millionaire, it means that you can lose 2 or 3 million and you not feel anything.
Yeah.
That's
crazy. So what would you want anyone, what would you want anyone to know? Or what do you think anyone should know about the crypto currency or digital money?
What I would want maybe the viewers to know is that cryptocurrency is here to stay. It's going nowhere.
Yeah.
I think there was a point where the Kenyan government had given a warning about the use of it and investment in it.
Yeah.
And I think recently they came up with a circular indicating that they're sort of accepting it.
Yeah.
So that's one
If
tells
you
you
can
something.
if you can beat them,
join them, man.
join them. It's just like, disruption, Frank, man. Look at Airbnb. We actually talked about this a bit.
It is not a respecter of men.
On part 1. Look at Uber.
Yes.
And locally we have Bolt, which is started as Taxify.
Yeah.
And then the international company invested. And then we have Liticum. And in other parts of, let's say like in Kitale and Naivasha and Nakuru, there's Vasili. It's just like Uber, but people, we can't beat this system. We just need to adopt and be a part of this disruption, part of this transformation.
So when I say I am market development for shared economy, these are now the shared economies that we are talking about.
Yeah.
Because Uber, Airbnb, Bolt, these are just a few solutions that have been able to solve challenges in those particular economic sectors.
Yeah.
But there are so many other economic sectors that are So these are the kinds of market that I am looking for, and sitting down with experts and thinking around it and see how can we provide tech-enabled solution to these legacy challenges that we have faced year in, year out in this particular economic sector.
As we started wrapping up, the people hear about the financial market. What we watch business news, I know a lot of girls, because I know my sister, you tell them, watch business news, what important piece of information would you want to pass to, the audience in terms of the financial market? What do they need to know? And why should they be at least informed? I'm not a fan of soccer, honestly. I don't mind, I can watch it maybe with my bro who is a big fan of Chelsea, so I'm a Chelsea fan by extension. Or if I have a friend who likes, but I can tell you, like, it's very difficult for me to, like, follow. I have buddies who like, diehard Man U fan, diehard Chelsea, and it's all good, but I don't like, I don't fancy, I don't mind watching, but at least I try to be informed, what's happening. At least I know there was a protest. We wanted to watch a match recently, and then there was a protest, for the Man U and Liverpool match. So what piece of information, good information, that you think, my viewers should know about the financial market?
So, in simplifying, because I realize finance has got so much terminologies that people, a finance person want to scare you, they will just pull out some big words. But to break it down, what the financial market is just like any other market.
Yeah, it's like marikiti.
Like marikiti, you'll find a lady there selling nyanya. Let's say, for example, that is the stock market.
Yeah.
You'll find another one selling onions. That is the FX market.
Yeah.
You'll find another one selling oranges.
That's bonds.
That's the bonds market.
Yeah.
So when you put all these, currencies, stocks, bonds, these are financial instruments. There are more other instruments like swaps, derivatives, and what have you. Swaps are part of derivatives.
Yeah.
So when you take all these financial instruments, now the financial market becomes the market where these financial instruments are bought and sold.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Awesome. My last question for you in regards to this, Frank, is there's lots of budding young entrepreneurs in Kenya, in Africa, and around the world. What important message would you want to put across in regards to this? Because honestly, I consider you as a financial expert. Honestly, you can't be if you if you don't understand this field. So I know there's more stuff that you are learning, and you're gonna grow in this field. But like what message or knowledge that you can share for, as we wrap up, like your parting shot to small businesses, especially during this time? What do they need to know? What do they need to understand? How do they need to navigate?
What I have come to learn in the recent past is that the most viable businesses that keeps a country's economy running are the middle class. They are the SMEs.
Yes.
And these are the ones that we're calling small businesses.
Yeah.
Now the challenges that SMEs are facing is access to capital.
That's right.
And that has been an impending challenge to all emerging markets and frontier markets around the world.
Yeah.
And the main reason why it's a challenge is because there is no structure in which lending institutions can be able to calibrate the risk that they carry.
Yeah.
Now, if we come and look at a particular business sector, let's say, for example, FMCG, a kiosk is selling Royco and what have you.
Yeah.
This kiosk wants some amount of money to restock. Now, if you're going to lend this person, I'll show you they're going to pay. I'll show you they are not going to default on that credit.
Yeah.
So that calculation, that information that makes the bank come up with a risk matrix that says this is the amount of risk that we carry, is what is lacking. And I think technology is what has brought a solution to that, where we can sit down and structure all our markets.
Yeah.
And be able to provide a structure in the sense that commercial or lending institution can comfortably calibrate risk based on the data that is supplied on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. Nice. Good stuff, man. Really good stuff. Good having you, man. I really appreciate you making time.
Thanks.
I hope on a different episode we can have a much more deeper conversation
Yep.
on the market trends because I know 10 years from now, even Kenya itself will be a different story.
Yeah.
Look at what's happening in Nairobi.
Mm.
So I look forward to more conversations. Just know anytime we need to talk about money, investments, and finances, and blah 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 blah. You're the go-to guy.
It's a pleasure.
For Talk with J.O. officially. Yeah, man. So thank you so much for making time.
Thanks a lot also for inviting me, and for believing that there is value that I can provide here.
No, man, you have value, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, we say here that everyone is important and everyone has a story to tell. I have learned, some stuff here today, and I know my viewer here also has learned some stuff. So thank you. Thank you so much for making time. And I wish you all the best, man, as you continue to do your stuff. May you grow more knowledge, more wisdom, and your impact be felt not only here in Kenya and Africa, but globally.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. I hope you learned something, man. I know today there was a lot of conversations about, it's not just in an inspiring story, but much more knowledge sharing in regards to money, the financial market, investments, and high risk, low risks investments. I hope you took something away and you can apply it in your personal life, in your business if you're an entrepreneur out here. And value addition every day. A big thank you to an amazing crew. Thank you, Brayo. Thank you, Ashu. Thank you, Rafi. Thank you, G. Thank you, Nzosh. All these people make this show what it is, and I really, really appreciate all these guys, man, for all the work that they do, the time, the input, the skill. Thank you guys for the amazing work that you do. God bless you. Until next time, see you, and God bless you. Have a good one. We'll catch you next time.